So today's topic is financial analysis and planning. So what is the meaning of financial analysis and planning? So first of all, financial analysis and planning is carried out for the purpose of obtaining material and relevant information necessary for ascertaining the financial strength and weakness of an enterprise. So what is the purpose of financial analysis? So financial analysis deals with the financial strength and weakness of an enterprise and is necessary to analyze the data depicted in the financial statement. So it means financial analysis dealing with the financial strength and weakness and as well as data depicted in the financial statement. Then next, ratio analysis. So ratio analysis based on the fact that a single accounting figure by itself may not communicate any meaningful information, but when expressed as a relative to some other figure, it may definitely provide some significant information. Ratio analysis compares a different number from the balance sheet. So it means what is the purpose of ratio analysis? Ratio analysis comparing the balance sheet, income statement and cash flow statement against the figure of previous year. It means ratio analysis is comparing the current year balance with the previous year balance. And next, importance of ratio analysis. So importance of ratio analysis, whatever important is the first, liquidity position, long-term solvency, operating efficiency, overall profitability, interfirm comparison, financial ratio. So ratio analysis dealing with the liquidity position, long-term solvency, operating efficiency, overall profitability, interfirm comparison, financial ratios for supporting document. So first one is the liquidity ratio. In this liquidity ratio, so what were the current ratio, quick ratio, cash ratio, basic defense interval ratio, net working capital ratio. In this first one, capital ratio, current ratio. So in current ratio, what is the formula of current ratio? Current assets divided by current liability. So it means a simple measure that estimate whether the business can pay short-term debts. Ideal ratio is 2:1. So in what is the ideal ratio? Current ratio is equal current asset divided by current liability. But ideal ratio means 2:1 means so current asset is 2 and current liability is 1. Suppose if current asset is 3, current liability is 2 means, so if more than ideal ratio, that is not good. So next, quick ratio. Quick ratio means quick assets divided by current liabilities. So it measures the able to meet current debt immediately. Ideal ratio is 1:1. So current ratio, ideal ratio is 2:1, and quick ratio, ideal ratio is 1:1, and it able to meet the current debt immediately. Then cash ratio. Cash ratio is, what is the formula? Cash and bank balances plus marketable security divided by current liability. So it measures absolute liquidity of the business. So current ratio measures the absolute liquidity of the business. The next, basic defense interval ratio. So basic defense interval ratio, what is the formula? Cash and bank balances plus marketable securities divided by operating efficiency divided by number of days. So basic defense interval ratio measures the ability of the business to meet regular cash expenditure. So it means basic defense interval ratio, what is the purpose of basic defense interval ratio? It measures the business to meet regular cash expenditure or not, it can measure. Net working capital ratio. Net working capital ratio means current assets minus current liabilities. It measures cash flows to determine ability of business to survive financial crisis. So whenever the financial crisis is there, in that time business can able to survive or not is measured by net working capital ratio. So So first one, liquidity. In this liquidity ratio, whatever is there, current ratio, quick ratio, cash ratio, basic difference interval ratio, net working capital ratio. Then next, capital structure ratio. So capital structure ratio, in this one, whatever is there, equity ratio, debt ratio, debt to equity ratio, debt to total assets ratio, capital gearing ratio, property ratio. In this first one, equity ratio. Equity ratio is nothing but shareholders equity divided by capital employed. So it indicates owners fund in companies to total fund invested. So equity ratio means, so whatever the owners fund divided by total fund invested in the company. So that is called equity ratio. Debt ratio, total outside liability divided by total debt to plus net worth. So debt ratio indicates of an use of outside funds. So equity ratio, it is the indicator of owner's fund divided by total fund. Debt ratio is indicating the outside funds. Then debt to equity ratio, total outside liability divided by shareholders equity. It indicates the composition of capital structure in terms of debt and equity. It indicates the composition of capital structure in terms of debt and equity. So debt to equity ratio is indicating the debt as well as equity. Debt to total assets ratio, it means total outside liabilities divided by total assets. It measures how much of total assets is financed by debt. So debt to total assets ratio is it measures the how much of total assets is financed by debt. Capital gearing ratio, preferential capital plus debt debentures plus other borrowed funds divided by equity share capital plus reserves and surplus minus losses. So capital gearing ratio, what is the measure of capital gearing ratio? It shows the proportion of fixed interest bearing capital to equity shareholders fund. It also signifies the advantage of financial leverage to equity shareholders. The property ratio is nothing but proprietary fund divided by proprietary ratio. It means proprietary fund divided by total assets. So it indicates the proportion of total assets financed by shareholders. So this is called capital structure ratio. So in the first question, from the following information, prepare a summarized balance sheet as at 31st March 2002. First one, what is given? Net working capital 2,48,000. So net working capital is equal, what is the formula? Current assets minus current liability. Then bank overdraft 40,000 is given. Fixed assets to proprietary ratio 0.75. Reserves and surplus 1,60,000. Current ratio 2.5, liquidity ratio 1.5. So first net working capital is given, means first we have to take net working capital is given. So net working capital, so first question, net working capital is given. So net working capital formula, what is there? Current assets minus current liability. Then next, what is given? Current ratio is given. Current ratio is equal to current assets divided by, so current ratio is how much is given? So current ratio is how much is given? 2.5 is given. So current assets divided by current liability is equal to 2.5. Then current assets is equal to 2.5 into current liability. Then what is the first is given? Net working capital. So net working capital is equal to what is the formula? Current assets minus current liability. Then current assets is equal to 2.5 current liability. So 2.5 current liability minus current liability. Then 1.5 current liability is equal to, so net working capital how much is given? 2 lakhs 40,000 is given. Then current liability is equal to 2,40,000 divided by 1.5. Then current liability is equal to 1,60,000. Then current assets is equal to 2.5 into current liability. So 2.5 into current liability, how much is given? 1,60,000. Then current assets is equal to how much? 4 lakhs. So we know the current assets and current liability. Then next one is what is given? Liquid ratio. Liquid ratio is nothing but quick ratio. Quick ratio is how much is given? 1.5. So quick ratio is equal to 1.5. So liquid ratio is equal to liquid assets divided by current liabilities. So liquid assets is nothing but current assets minus inventories divided by current liabilities. So current liability, how much is there? So current liability, how much is there? 1,60,000. So 1,60,000 is equal to, so liquid ratio how much is given? Liquid ratio how much is given? 1.5. Then current assets is equal to 4 lakh minus inventories is equal to 1.5 into 1,60,000. Then we get to the inventory is equal to 1,60,000. Then fixed asset to proprietary ratio. Fixed assets to proprietary ratio is equal to 0.75. Fixed asset to proprietary ratio is equal to fixed asset divided by proprietary fund. Proprietary fund is equal to 0.75. Then fixed asset is equal to 0.75 into proprietary fund. Then so fixed asset is equal to 0.75 into proprietary fund means net working capital is equal to 0.25 into proprietary fund. Important this one. So fixed asset is equal to 0.75 into proprietary fund. Then net working capital is equal to 0.25 into proprietary fund. So proprietary fund is equal to net working capital divided by 0.25. Then proprietary fund is equal to, so net working capital. So net working capital how much is given? Net working capital how much is given? 1 lakh. 2,40,000. So 2,40,000 divided by 0.25. Proprietary fund is equal to 9 lakhs 60,000. Then 9,60,000. Then fixed assets is equal to, so fixed asset divided by proprietary fund is equal to 0.75. Then fixed asset is equal to 0.75 into 9,60,000. Then fixed asset is equal to 7,20,000. Then next, capital is equal to proprietary fund minus reserves and surplus. So proprietary fund, how much is there? 9,60,000. Then reserves and surplus, how much? So reserves and surplus, how much is given? 1,60,000. 1,60,000. Then capital is equal to 8 lakhs. Then next, sundry creditors is equal to current liability minus bank overdraft. OD, bank overdraft. Current liability is equal to how much? 1,60,000. Bank overdraft 40,000 is equal to 1,20,000. So whatever is over, net working capital over, bank overdraft over, fixed assets to proprietary ratio over, reserves and surplus over, current ratio over, liquidity ratio over. Then we prepare balance sheet. So first one, capital how much? Capital 8 lakhs. Next, reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus is how much is given? So reserves and surplus 1,60,000. Reserves and surplus 1,60,000. Bank overdraft, how much is there? 40,000. Creditors 1,20,000. Then fixed assets is equal to 7,20,000. Fixed assets is equal to 7,20,000. Then stock is equal to 1,60,000. Current assets is equal to 2,40,000. Plus 40,000. Total 11,20,000. 11,20,000. Next one is the coverage ratio. Coverage ratio is debt service coverage ratio. Debt service coverage ratio is nothing but earnings available for debt services divided by interest plus installment. So debt service coverage ratio measures the ability to meet the commitment of various debt services like interest, installment, etc. So ideal ratio is 2. So earning available of debt service by interest plus installment, ideal ratio is how much is there? 2. Then interest coverage ratio. Interest coverage ratio is equal to EBIT by interest. So it measures the ability of the business to meet the interest. So ideal ratio is greater than 1. Preference dividend coverage ratio. Preference dividend coverage ratio is equal to net profit divided by earning after tax divided by preference dividend liability. It measures the able to pay the preference shareholders dividend. So preference dividend coverage ratio indicate able to pay the preference shareholders. So how much able to pay the preference shareholders dividend it can measure. Ideal ratio is greater than 1. Next, fixed charges coverage ratio. Fixed charges coverage ratio is equal to EBIT plus depreciation divided by interest plus repayment of loan divided by 1 minus tax rate. So it indicates how many times the cash flow before interest and tax covers all fixed financing charges. The ideal ratio is greater than 1. So this is the coverage ratio. In coverage ratio topic, debt service coverage ratio, interest coverage ratio, preference dividend coverage ratio, fixed charges coverage ratio. Then next, activity ratio or efficiency ratio. So total asset turnover ratio. Total assets turnover ratio is equal to sale or cost of goods sold divided by average total assets. So a measure of total assets utilization. It helps to answer the question, what sales are being generated by each rupee. So it measures total asset utilization. It means how much of assets utilized it can measure. That is called total asset turnover ratio. Next, fixed asset turnover ratio. Sale or cost of goods sold by fixed assets. The ratio is about fixed asset capacity. So a reducing sales or profit being generated from each rupee invested in fixed assets may indicate over capacity or poorer. So fixed asset turnover ratio indicates the sale or cost of goods sold or fixed asset. It means the ratio indicating the fixed asset capacity. Next, capital turnover ratio. Capital turnover ratio, it means sale or cost of goods sold divided by net assets. This indicates the firm's able to generate sales per rupee for long-term investment. So it indicates the long-term investment, how much. So next, working capital turnover ratio. Working capital turnover ratio means sales by cost of goods sold. Sales or cost of goods sold divided by working capital. It measures the efficiency of the firms to use the working capital. Inventory turnover ratio means cost of goods sold or sales by average inventory. Debt turnover ratio, it means credit sales divided by average accounts receivables. Average account receivables by average daily credit sales. Payable turnover ratio, it means annual net credit purchased by average account payables. So these are the formulas. Next, profitability ratio. Gross profit ratio means gross profit divided by sales into 100. Then next, net profit ratio. It means net profit by sales into 100. Operating profit ratio means operating profit divided by sales into 100. Then cost of goods sold ratio means cost of goods sold by sales into 100. Operating expenses ratio. Administrative expenses plus selling and distribution overhead divided by sales into 100. Operating ratio is equal to cost of goods sold plus operating expenses by sales into 100. Financial expenses ratio. Financial expenses by sales into 100. Then next, profitability ratio. Return on investment. Return on investment means return or profit or earning by investment into 100. Return on assets. Net profit after taxes divided by average total assets. Return on capital employed. EBIT by capital employed into 100. Return on capital employed post tax. EBIT into 1 minus tax by capital employed into 100. Return on equity. Net profit after taxes minus preference dividend by net worth or equity shareholders fund. Next, profitability ratio. Earning per ratio, EPS. Net profit available to equity shareholders by number of equity shares outstanding. Dividend per share. Dividend paid to equity shareholders by number of equity shares outstanding. Dividend payout ratio. Dividend per equity share divided by earning per share. Next, profitability ratio. Price earning per share. It means market price per share by earning per share. Dividend yield. Dividend plus or minus changes in share price or initial share price, or dividend per share divided by market per share. Earning yield. Earning per share divided by market price per share into 100. Market value or book value. Market value per share divided by book value per share. Q ratio. Market value of equity and liabilities by estimated replacement cost of assets. So this is the formula of financial analysis and planning.